Deathless Titans placed upon the face of the earth 3 generations of men, the first of them being men of gold. Becoming too close to gods themselves, Cronus ended their time on earth with an eternal sleep. A second generation came to be, the men of silver. Unwilling to serve the Titans and make sacrifices upon the holy altars, as all men shall do, they were condemned to dwell under the earth for all eternity. Finally, a third generation, the men of bronze, a brazen race, sprung from the ash tree. Terrible and strong are they. Join me as I tell you the tales of the men of bronze. This is Dragon's Blood, Odyssey to Dionysodoros, Episode 6. Gamden and Sunesret walked up the stairs from the cellar where they had hidden the rest of the books and gadgets. Turning the corner into the kitchen, they saw a man just as tall as Gamden, but with wide shoulders, thickly muscled, and wearing a green helmet and armor. He had a sword in one hand and a round green shield in the other. "Halt!" shouted the man. "What have you done with Kefu?" Sunesret reached for his sword, but Gamden was faster and stopped him. "My name is Gamden. I was a student of Kefu for many years. I stopped in to seek assistance and guidance from my former master." "Who are you?" When the stranger heard Gamden's name, he relaxed and sheathed his sword. "My name is Akhom. I am a warrior priest of Athena. You probably don't remember me, but I remember you. I have been stopping at Kefu's mansion every winter solstice for many years to bring him the ingredients for his potions and spells." Removing his helmet revealed his light brown eyes, full of a lifetime of wisdom, a long straight nose, close cropped hair, and narrow face. "When I entered the compound, I saw the disarmed traps and the remnants of the chest. I knew that something was wrong. Is Kefu all right?" Gamden stepped forward and offered his arm in a friendly gesture. Akhom returned the gesture in a friendly embrace. "I have bad news for you, my friend," Gamden said in a sad tone. "When we got here, Kefu was already dead. By the state of the decomposition of his body, he could have been here for several weeks to months. I can't tell what killed him, or if someone killed him." "Where is the body?" asked Akhom. "We left him where we found him, in the library. Follow me." "No need," said Akhom. "I know my way. Thank you." Akhom walked past Gamden and went straight for the library. Sunesret bent down to whisper into Gamden's ear. "I don't like priests, and I don't like this one even more." "Keep it to yourself," Gamden muttered back. "I kind of remember this person now, and the thing I remember most is that he truly is a warrior. Kefu had me spar with him in the courtyard. I still have the scars to prove it." Gamden and Sunesret made their way to the library. Akhom was kneeling beside the body of Kefu, praying to Athena. Taking Kefu's rotting hand in his, Akhom continued praying. "What is he doing?" asked Sunesret. "I'm not sure," answered Gamden. "This is a kind of magic that I have never seen before." "Gamden, find me some myrrh, quickly. I must anoint Kefu." "Find it in the apothecary," barked Akhom. Quickly, Gamden got his bearings and remembered which room it was. In no time flat, he returned with a large flask in hand. "Hurry! Pour some down his chest, over the heart, and some down his throat. I can't let go of his hand if this is going to work." Gamden hesitated for a moment, gripped with revulsion at having to touch Kefu's corpse. "I said hurry!" shouted Akhom. "This has to work the first time. There is no second chance." Gamden ripped open the nightshirt and poured the myrrh over the chest, and then forced the jaw open and guided the neck of the flask into the mouth. spilling most, but getting some down what was left of the throat. The flask slipped out of Gamden's hand and shattered on the floor. Akhom concentrated on his task. He stopped praying, and with his free hand, traced the outline of a rune in the myrrh on the chest of the corpse. The rune took on a light blue color. Seconds later, one of the fingers on the corpse moved. "Good," said Akhom. "Kefu, can you hear me? Tell me, what happened to you? It's your old friend, Akhom. Kefu, can you hear me?" The corpse moved its head to look at Akhom with empty eye sockets. In a whispered voice, the corpse of Kefu answered without moving the jawbone. "Akhom, you are late. Why are you late?" "That is not important," answered Akhom. "Kefu, tell me what happened to you. How did you die?" "Oh? Am I dead? How long have I been dead for?" "That's not important, Kefu." "Kefu, what is the last thing that you remember?" The corpse looked off into space for a moment, and then said, "The last thing I remember was sitting in my library, smoking my pipe, drinking my wine, and enjoying the sun with my familiar. Where is my familiar?" Seconds later, a large black male cat with bright yellow eyes jumped on the lap of Kefu, purring, tail in the air. The corpse petted the cat affectionately and sighed. "That is the last thing that I remember." "Kefu, it's me, Gamden. Do you remember me?" "Of course I remember you, boy," the corpse said, extending a bony arm and looking directly at Gamden with its empty eye sockets. "Take my hand, Gamden, just for a moment." Gamden hesitated and looked at Akhom for guidance. Akhom nodded his head. "Take his hand, Gamden. He wants to give you his familiar. Don't deny him this." Slowly, Gamden reached out and took his hand. The corpse took his with a firm grasp and said, "Take good care of my familiar. His name is Kepri. He will be your eyes and ears in places you cannot go." Letting go of Gamden's hand, he began to pet the cat and continued, "Gamden, pet Kepri with me." Gamden reached out to pet him. Kepri smelled his fingers, then rubbed his head on Gamden's hand. "You belong to Gamden now. Take care of him and serve your new master well." Kepri looked up into his empty eye sockets and let out a long, loud meow, then jumped down to sit next to Gamden and groomed himself. "Kefu, look at me," said Akhom. "We have to go now, old friend. I will miss our talks around the fire. I will miss you too. I always looked forward to your visits." The corpse reached up with its bony hand and tugged on Gamden's sleeve. "I loved you as a son, and I still do today. You have my permission to take what you need from my home. Goodbye, son." With that, Akhom let go of Kefu's hand. The rune on its chest lost its color, and the head fell back. Akhom stood and said, "We must build a funeral pyre for Kefu. He was far too powerful of a mage to let his physical body remain. Necromancers are few and far between, but if any of them knew of Kefu's corpse, they could reanimate him, and he would have to do their bidding." "But you reanimated his corpse," said Sunesret. "Are you a necromancer?" "I did not reanimate Kefu. All I did was contact his spirit. Kefu could only answer simple questions and could only barely move." Akhom walked across the room and pulled a large book from one of the shelves. He put it down and opened it to a series of fine, hand-drawn pictures in script, describing how to raise the dead in all states of decay. A powerful necromancer can use this magic within Kefu. He was so old and had used magic almost all his life that his body had become imbued with it. Very dangerous, said Gamden. Very dangerous, repeated Akhom. Now I have to prepare Kefu's body, said Akhom. Gamden, why don't you and Sunesret go get us a pheasant or two for supper? Talking to Kefu has been a drain on my body. After we eat, then we will build his pyre. Look for episode 7 of Dragon's Blood, Odyssey to Dionysodoros, on YouTube.